Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. Tyler Medina here, coming to you for a quick minute. I want to talk about something of vital importance, and that is the battlefield of the mind. Listen, some of the greatest battles that you'll ever face in life is not just with another person. It's not with your career. It's not trying to figure out, do I go to school? Do I do this? The greatest battlefield that you'll face is the battlefield of the mind. It's what happens within here and beginning to convince and rewire your way of thinking. Okay, let me say it like this, is that the world for so long has taught you that seeing is believing, right? I couldn't disagree more. I believe it's actually the opposite. I believe that believing is seeing, right? So the Bible says that faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the assurance of things not seen, which means this: if I base faith off what I see, then that's logic and that's reason. It's not faith. Faith pulls the unseen into the seen realm, okay? So the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, which means that the fruit of your life will bear witness to the testimony of your inner man, okay? Let me say it like this: your life will produce the fruit of what you believe. So, for instance, you are a product of what you believe. So you grew up in poverty, your family grew up in poverty, and you believe that you're just destined to be poor. You're not poor because you're a product of where you came from. You're poor because you're a product of what you believe, okay? Now let me flip that around on the other side. You grow up in a poor home, your family's uneducated, but you go on to college, you end up getting a college degree, you end up going to be at a big marketing firm or whatever the case may be, and you end up making a high six-figure career. You're not a product of your circumstances, you're a product of what you believe. And so you believed you can, so you did. You know, Henry Ford once said, he said, whether a man believes he can or he can't, he's right. So what's that mean? It means you're a product of what you believe. So everything in life starts in seed form. It starts with a thought. Every thought of inferiority, every thought of insignificance, every thought of unworthiness, every thought of worth, every thought that I can do better than this, everything starts in seed form. You know, one thing my dad did right growing up is he used to tell me, he said, Tyler, he said, you can do anything you put your mind to. And I was just crazy enough to actually believe it. And so I believed and took him at his word that I could truly do anything that I put my mind to. And what that meant for me was there was no limitations, there was no boundaries, there was no caps on what I could do in life. And I still live my life this way, okay? So you're a product of what you believe. The battle is not with another person, it's not with your family member, it's not warring against your boss. The greatest battle that you're gonna face is within the battlefield of your own mind. And we've got to begin to learn to rewire the way that we think. So the Bible says, put on the mind of Christ, right? Not just know about him, know him intimately, gnosko, right? So it's about knowing Christ. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It means not just what I think, how I think. The entire system in which I process thoughts has to be retrained and relearned. You know, in life, this is why I continually invest in myself. I continually invest in the way that I think. I continually invest in learning and growing. You know, Numbers 13, they sent Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 other spies to go and spy out the land of Canaan, right? The promised land. When they go into the land, he says, go and look at the soil, right? Go and look at the fruit, bring fruit from the land. They had to go out and study the land. What kind of fruit grows there? What kind of crops grow there? Right? They wanted to know what was the land that they're stepping into. And success can be defined as this: it's when preparation meets opportunity. A lot of people just want to wait for God to drop things in their lap. They want to wait for God to drop a six-figure career, $1 million in their lap. But what are you doing for that today? How are you studying? How are you learning your craft? How are you sharpening your skill sets? How are you retraining the way you think? Retraining your mind? How are you preparing for where you're going and for what's coming? There's an old saying, and I'll leave you with this. It says there was two farmers that prayed desperately for rain. One just prayed and asked God to send the rain and believed the rain was going to come. Another one actually began to prepare their fields, and they began to prepare and till the fields and ready their fields for the receptivity of the rain. Let me leave you with this question: who do you think received the rain?